Outside, a gentle rain was falling, soft, steady, like the sky itself was soaked in an old memory. Tucked into a quiet corner of the city stood a small diner, the kind of place where time seemed to pause. Everything inside was a little worn, but in its right place, soft jazz playing from an old jukebox, and the smell of coffee lingering in the air. Emma, a 27-year-old waitress, was busy as usual. There was a faint tiredness beneath her eyes, but her smile remained genuine, as if even sorrow hesitated to touch her. For Emma, this wasn't just a job. It was a window into the silent stories people carried. Then the door opened, and an elderly man walked in. White hair, slightly hunched posture, and hands that trembled just a little. His eyes carried a sadness, the kind that settles in after waiting for someone who may never return. He quietly chose a corner table, like he wanted to exist just outside the world. His every movement was slow, like he was no longer in rhythm with time. Emma noticed him, not just saw him, but felt him. And in that moment, an unwritten story began. Lunchtime passed, and only a few guests remained. The old man had quietly finished his soup, spoon by spoon, as if swallowing memories, not food. His face was calm, but his eyes overflowed with untold stories. When the bill came, he began patting his coat, then his shirt pocket, then his coat again. His eyes showed embarrassment, his hands, unease. Slowly, his face turned red, he had forgotten his wallet at home. In a voice almost trembling, he said, I'll come back tomorrow to pay. Those words cost him more than money, they carried the weight of dignity. Emma walked over gently, picked up the bill, and smiled. This one's on me. Your prayers are more than enough. The old man's eyes welled up, not just with gratitude, but with peace, the kind that comes from realizing that kindness still exists. He tried to say something, but words failed him. He simply nodded, and walked out in silence. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the air still smelled of yesterday. Emma was restocking coffee mugs when the diner door opened. This time, it wasn't the old man. A tall, sharply dressed man walked in, charcoal gray suit, polished shoes, holding a small velvet box and a brown envelope. He scanned the diner and walked straight to the counter. Emma Lawson, he asked gently, though his tone was formal. Yes, that's me, Emma replied, puzzled. He placed the box and envelope on the counter. My name is Daniel Hayes. I'm Mr. Arthur Whitaker's attorney. Emma's face dropped slightly as she connected the name. You mean, the man from yesterday? Daniel nodded slowly. He passed away last night. But before he did, he told me, find the waitress, the one who smiles with sorrow in her eyes, and give her this. Emma held back tears as she picked up the key. She hadn't expected anything. A small kindness had turned into something life-altering, and she didn't even know how, yet. Scene 4, The Key and the Letter, A Gift of Life. That night, silence filled Emma's tiny apartment. Everything looked the same, her favorite mug, a small bookshelf, and the faint glow of the streetlights outside. But tonight, something was different. In her hands lay a velvet box and a sealed envelope, holding a message that would change everything. She unfolded the letter carefully. The paper was old, but each word felt alive. Every sentence was full of warmth, of gratitude, and something deeper, a final gift. Emma, your kindness reminded me that humanity still lives. My wife and I once had a small cabin by the lake, a place where we felt truly alive. Now, that place is yours. Souls like yours deserve peace. Sometimes, a simple smile can change an entire life. Yours changed mine. Tears rolled down Emma's face. She had only paid a bill, just a small, selfless gesture. But to someone, it had meant the world. That night, she didn't just read a letter, she discovered a new purpose. A few days later, Emma was driving her old car down a winding country road, her heart full of emotions she couldn't name. Far from the city, under a canopy of trees, the road led to a place she had only read about. The cabin stood quietly by the edge of a lake, small, wooden, weathered by time, but still alive. It was hidden among the trees, as if love itself had once built it, for peace, not for show. Emma unlocked the door. As it creaked open, light poured in, chasing away the shadows and filling the space with promise. She stepped inside and took a deep breath. It was the first time in years she had breathed so freely, so deeply, as if all the weight she carried had finally been lifted. In that moment, Emma realized this wasn't just a cabin. It was a beginning. A new chapter. A quiet miracle born from one small act of kindness. Sometimes, the smallest kindness heals the deepest wound. Emma had simply covered a bill. But in return, she was given an entirely new world. True kindness doesn't always cost money. Sometimes, all it takes, is a little humanity.